Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Dane Brugler predicts Cowboys use first 2 picks on offense. Dane Brugler, the Athletics NFL draft guru, just recently dropped his latest 2025 mock draft predicting what all 32 teams could do with their first 2 picks based on team needs and information gathered from conversations with sources in the NFL and college football. As far as the Dallas Cowboys are concerned, Brugler seems to think they will target the offensive side of the ball early and often with their first 2 selections in the 2025 NFL Draft. This could very well be the approach Dallas ends up taking in April, but only time will tell. Until then, let's take a look at who he predicts the Cowboys will take. Cowboys 12 pick, Luther Burden 3, wide receiver, Missouri. The Cowboys have to find more answers in the passing game, outside of CeeDee Lamb. Burden is an explosive threat at all 3 levels but does his best work with the ball in his hands, becoming a running back after the catch. With the 12th overall pick in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft, Brugler predicts the Cowboys will upgrade their passing game by drafting wide receiver Luther Burden 3 out of Missouri. He would immediately step in as the wide receiver 2 behind CeeDee Lamb and give Dak Prescott another dynamic playmaker to upgrade Dallas' aerial attack. While Brugler's reasoning is sound and could be exactly the way things play out for the Cowboys, it is interesting to see he thinks in Dallas would pass up on Boise State RB Ashton Jeanty, who has been connected to Dallas for a while. By the way, Jeanty ended up sliding all the way to 20th overall to the Denver Broncos. Deciding between wide receiver Luther Burden and running back Ashton Jeanty would no doubt be an interesting and tough decision to make for the Cowboys if this is how things play out. One reason to pass on Jeanty is that the 2025 running back draft class is deep, whereas the wide receiver draft class isn't considered to be so. Maybe that's why Dane Brugler believes the Cowboys would target wide receiver over running back in the first round and why he decided to go with the latter with their second-round pick, 44th overall. Cowboys 44 pick, Trayveon Henderson, running back, Ohio State. His vision and tempo as an inside runner aren't always consistent, but Henderson has the acceleration to create big plays anytime he touches the rock. He has really shined with Chip Kelly's pinpole blocking concepts. His versatility as a blocker and pass catcher gives him a clear path to NFL playing time. Trayveon Henderson is considered to be a top 5 running back in the 2025 draft class and was the 4th RB selected in Brugler's mock draft. The 5 feet 10 inches, 210-pound running back is half of the dynamic duo with Quinton Judkins at Ohio State and rushed for 967 yards and 10 touchdowns for the Buckeyes this season, averaging an impressive 7.3 yards per carry. With the need to upgrade their rushing attack, Henderson makes a lot of sense for the Cowboys with the 44th overall pick. He checks all of the boxes NFL teams look for in a starting running back and should be able to upgrade Dallas' rushing attack. Again though, it is interesting Dane Brugler decided to pass up on Ashton Jeanty, the best running back in the 2025 draft class, in the first round for the Cowboys to select Henderson for them with their second-round pick. After all, Ole Miss wide receiver Trey Harris and Stanford wide receiver Alec Iomenor were still available for Dallas at 44 according to Brugler's mock draft. It is an interesting topic of debate whether Brugler is correct that the Cowboys would go wide receiver over running back in the first round or vice versa. But that's one of the fun aspects of doing these mock drafts. It opens up lines of discussions as to what may or may not happen and what would like to see happen. Cowboys Micah Parsons breaks silence on Mike McCarthy drama. Parsons has spoken up in defense of McCarthy throughout the season, praising his ability to keep the team moving forward even amid devastating injuries. On Wednesday, Parsons addressed McCarthy's departure on his podcast. "I'm obviously very sad because of the relationships we had with Coach McCarthy and everything he's done for our program," Parsons said on The Edge podcast. 3 straight 12-5 seasons, playoff appearances and obviously an unfortunate year due to injuries. It is devastating. Coach Mike is a great father, great coach. One of the winningest coaches. He's always been good to us as a unit, coaches, players. Losing a great coach like Mike hurts. Now, there could be some concern around Parsons worrying about the future of the Cowboys. And that might come. But he is currently looking to cash in on the first big payday of his career, and has no desire to be sent elsewhere. Parsons might not be happy about McCarthy being dumped, but that should have no bearing on his new deal. Cowboys' first reported head coaching interview is an absolute home run. The Dallas Cowboys are expected to conduct a wide-ranging search for their next coach after such an unceremonious end to the Mike McCarthy era. That search is beginning with a former head coach in Robert Saleh, who is looking for a second chance to prove he can lead a team. Saleh was fired by the New York Jets midway through his fourth season. Considering all of the Woody Johnson-induced craziness behind the scenes, the performance of the team after he was fired, and how beloved he was by his players, many believe he got a raw deal. Saleh drew praise from within the Jets and around the league for his defensive acumen. If the Cowboys, who traditionally value past head coaching experience when trying to fill an opening, want a defensive mastermind on their squad, Saleh might be the best available option. According to Ian Rappaport, the Cowboys are expected to interview Saleh for their vacant head coaching role. This would be the first confirmed interview after some ceaseless Deion Sanders buzz early in the process. Saleh went 20-36 as Jets head coach, failing to make the playoffs. However, when you only get 5 full games with Rodgers and 34 with Zach Wilson, what was he supposed to do? Saleh built the Jets into a defense that ranked first in EPA per play and third in success rate since the start of the 2022 season, and they fell to 28th in that statistic in 2024 after he was fired. On one hand, Saleh would have a fully formed Dak Prescott, which could allow him to focus almost entirely on defense and leadership. Saleh's work with Sauce Gardner could be just what Trayvon Diggs needs, and Micah Parsons could be unleashed as a pass rusher in his scheme. On the other, Saleh's inability to put together a quality offensive coaching staff was perhaps his biggest mistake as Jets head coach. Give your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.